Let's get into these marketing devices. So finally, I remember where I was back in June when Richard first was talking about potential marketing things coming for PulseChain. This was the first time it was mentioned. He said, in just a couple of months or whatever. And of course, there's been wild speculation since that time. What would these things be? Many of us, I think, like the agreed upon thing was basically just that it would be some sort of fold out type thing with an LCD video screen, like maybe pitching what PulseChain is, directing people to a certain place because we heard about the C, whatever it is, 2500 battery and all that, and a charger potentially and everything. So most of us believed it was that. There was some other ideas as well. I didn't see anybody get it correct. I don't know if you did, Ewok, but I didn't really. And honestly, I think you were too, because we shared it together when we first saw them. But I did not even believe that it was these, whatever you want to call them, the doodle pad things. When I first saw them, I thought it was a joke or something like that. And instantly, and I've seen a lot of people say the same thing, once they started to think about it a little bit, it started to make a lot more sense. And again, I don't think that's just like any kind of Richard Hart bias. It's just thinking about, you have to zoom out and start thinking about direct mail marketing. And I'll ask this question to you, and it's interesting because I think Dane, in the video that we're going to show in a moment, brought up the same topic. I said this to you and Degen Moonboy the other day. Think of physical mail that you get. Like most of it, obviously, we are all, and this is why everybody's been so critical of RH talking about physical mail. People who have not done anything near what Richard Hart has done in life, but criticizing it because, I agree. Like you usually get physical mail, you tear it up because it's a little, maybe a cardboard cutout thing or just a mailer that's an obvious scam envelope or something. And I challenged myself one day and I was thinking, like, what is the most, and it's hard to remember your entire life of mail, but what's the most like inspiring thing that you ever got in the mail that like worked on you, or you know, was something that may have converted you as a customer? And the only thing that I could think of, and again, it's probably, something I got more recently, but it was literally, this is what it was. This is the low bar that we have to meet here. Is a hard plastic, like index card sized thing for a new auto shop in town that was offering like discount oil changes. And it had like a punch out, like you could put it on a keychain and just bring it right in. And, who doesn't need an oil change on their car? I was like, okay, I'll put this over to the side. I think it was like $25, which is like pretty heavily discounted. And I'm like, okay, I sitting right now on my microwave. I still have never used it, but it's still sitting there in my house right now. I don't know that I'll ever go to the place, but it's still there. And I'm one person. I'm one customer. Of
probably expired.
Maybe. Well, I've gotten it twice. I threw the old one away and I kept the new one because I'm like, they're going to keep sending it to me. So I've still got it. Now, that's a microcosm thing, but that's the barrier to entry here. That's the best piece of physical mail advertising I can remember in my entire life. Okay. So do you think Richard Hart passed that metric that I just created there?
Of course. I think a pen would have passed that, right? A pen with an advertisement on it or something like that. Mm-hmm. I was just trying to think back to something that I got in the mail that was free. And I still have it to this day. It was a little card from a local veterinarian. And on a little chain, it had a tick remover, something that you can remove a tick if your dog gets a tick. There's a special tool that you can get them out safely without pulling the head off and all that good stuff. Not to get too gruesome, but I still have it. It's just one of those things that I've kept because it is a great tool to have, and I've used it before. So I think that again was pretty cool, but this kind of goes over and above that, right? Especially for people that have kids, or their kids are gonna love it. It's just a little electronic etch sketch, basically. The target audience may not be extremely rich people. I don't know that they would care too much about it, but somebody that has a family of kids, or very upper, maybe middle class with a couple kids, those kids are going to play with it. They're going to love it. So I think it's very sticky. And I the more I thought about it, we were all kind of had the initial reaction of, man, that's kind of weird, right?
Yeah, I thought it was weird. I would totally admit it. Yeah, yeah.
And then we look into it a little bit more, and you've got, I think it's probably one of the best sellers on Amazon. Somebody had posted something like that where it was a top selling thing on Amazon at one point. So yeah, just a very, very cool idea. It's pretty sticky, and he's right. People are not going to throw it away. So.
You brought up two things there that I think are key. And like you just said about the kids and the family thing, keep in mind, think about everybody that you see criticizing this. Think of them. What kind of archetype are they? What do they look like on Twitter? What are they? They are anon young males that do not have children. Okay.
Probably.
And also usually people who don't have a lot of money either, or don't have a lot. Now, these people, because they're in crypto, may have already had. I'm not saying that of them, but like they can't even conceive of where these are going. You know what I mean? Like to the households that these are going to. And I agree with you. Like, and I have peers that I know that are the type of people these things could go to, honestly. Mm-hmm. Like I have a cousin who's like pretty much same age as me, has a couple of kids, married and stuff like that. And he'd be like a candidate to receive these. Like has disposable income, is open to crypto, has invested in Ethereum and Bitcoin a little bit. These people can't see past their own noses. I don't think they can't imagine like that. Richard's trying to market. I said it in a video I uploaded on here the other day. Like there's two groups. There's the people that are already in and are like crypto lifers and are just, again, hiding, but, don't even put their faces out there, just tweet all day and are negative and stuff. And it's just a single dude yield farming and jumping around and clicking a bunch of buttons and stuff like that. And that's fine. That may work for him, but that's not who Richard is trying to market to. This is a bigger deal than that, a bigger family unit, people that have, maybe more assets to use at the time. So it makes sense to me that the people that are the keyboard warriors saying all that stuff, they don't even have concept of who these people are or anything. Right. And as somebody, like I've seen those doodle pad things the kids go through multiple of them. Like I've seen them. They are a thing that kids use right now. I think people with kids like understand it a little bit more because they do get used and they do go through them. And it is cool because you can just constantly use them,
one of the other comments I heard too was like, why would you spend all this money when there are so many things that are needed more for this chain, like a block explorer? And I thought that was one of the worst examples because, to be honest with you, new people, the people that we're trying to get, don't even know what a block explorer is, let alone how to use it. It is not important for onboarding people. Like if you're trying to get the hardcore crypto, the old heads, the people that know what's going on, okay, maybe. But I think you can still get them with green candles. I really don't think you need the block explorer for that. And for the new people, again, they don't even know what the hell it is. They're not watching wallets. Yeah, they don't care.
I would just, not to interrupt you, but I have never cared about the block explorer thing. And I understand it. I know it's like the hallmark of a good chain and that you want to have and all that stuff. I've never given a shit. I've never really thought about it that much. I get it. I understand wanting a good one. And we've had other people build other ones, but I've never really cared.
Never cared. No, yeah. I don't care unless I'm looking for a transaction, which I hardly ever do. Again, I'm not a wallet watcher. So it doesn't bother me. Debank was nice. It was a nice thing that we kind of lost, but I've heard there's other ones in development that other people will build them. Like if it's really that wanted and needed, somebody will build it. It doesn't have to be Richard. Let's let him do the marketing, to onboard the new people in, to make these tools that, people seem to want. So.
This is the other thing I think people are missing is just not understanding, and this is where we're going to get into the Dane video and then the other guy video as well, but just not understanding what's trying to be achieved here. Like number one, so many of these are going to be mailed out that you want a cheaper item like this, something that doesn't cost as much. And when I think back to what we all thought that the items were going to be, it would have been a much bigger expense. I mean, I have to imagine 5 times as expensive, probably.
Probably.
You know, and if you can do something like this, that is something that can sit around the house, have this information on it, it's sticky, it stays there. You don't need a large conversion rate. And that's a lot of the math that people have been going out and trying to illustrate is you don't need everybody buying one. Like you can think these are cheesy devices or whatever that you would never use, but you're usually not getting, I mean, again, we just did the test. What's the best ad you ever got in the mail? And maybe yours rivals this a little bit. I think yours is pretty good. Like a physical tool you can actually use is kind of a good one. Maybe Richard should call up that pet shop or whatever they are. But but yeah, that's the thing. I don't think people realize the low barrier to entry and the conversion rate does not need to be high with this. So if you have any thoughts on that, and then yeah, we can play both those videos because they were released over the last couple of days, and I think they just bring a huge perspective to this.
Yeah, no, I think it would be easy. Just the thing that I got in the mail, because it came with a card, right? It came with a little chain, you know, one of those little chains that the little ball bearing kind of looking chain. And it had a card on the end of it. You could advertise. I still think it's a great idea. As I was thinking about it, because you could put anything on that card. People are, you know, or maybe put a little piece of paper in for what the tool is for. But then you could advertise with a QR code or with whatever you wanted on that card super cheaply. And your target audience would be people with pets. They're not going to throw it away, right? So again, I think that's another good idea that people, again, wouldn't throw away, that would use, that would look at the card, and it would stay with it. So I don't know.